dude?
Oh, dude, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Pretty good, man. Was it did you have to select your headset from that up arrow or that menu?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's
yeah.
what it was.
Okay. Yeah, it's when I did these on Discord, I was recording using OBS, right? Streamlabs OBS. And but I was recording like this video call would be through Discord. So two separate pieces of software, each having their own input and outputs. Okay. So sometimes I would forget because I would bounce back and forth. I would use Discord, I would use Zoom, I would use, I think one of the guys didn't know how to use either. So we used Instagram video call. So in each of those types of software, you have to go in and select your audio, like input or output device. So I got used to looking for that on every piece of software I use. So anyway,
It does get a little hectic with all the different softwares and editing and all. Just gets a little crazy sometimes.
yeah, there's services you can do that just take care of it for you, like you can pay for. Like one of the guys I did a podcast with in the UK, he runs Airsoft podcast and he uses Riverside. I think it's what it's called. And it's a monthly service you pay for, and then you hit record, and it does everything. As long as you have a mic and headset or whatever plugged in, it'll take care of everything for you. So that's kind of like Zoom, to be honest. Zoom does the same. It records everything and does the mic stuff and all that. But
Oh, either my lighting sucks or I am just white as shit.
I mean, you can adjust. You can take a minute and adjust it if you want.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
just
mind.
playing with it. I'm like, if I turn it this way, I get just whitewashed out. So
Oh yeah.
I think it might just be the
Well, look.
lack of sunshine up here
Oh
in
wait. Let's
Alaska.
see.
So
All right. So if I change this, this ring light thing has like three different tones.
mm,
So this one's not too bad. But there was actually I upgraded or updated my let's see, this one probably looks that's probably the closest to natural right there.
yeah.
But I updated my Logitech software for this webcam about 2 weeks ago. And when I did, the it really enhanced the like white light sensitivity and all that kind of stuff. Like it fixed a lot of problems that I had because I had the same issue with the whitewashing stuff. Because I would turn this light like all the way down like this
Mm,
just to get a normal look,
yeah.
but everything was really dark. So once I upgraded this or updated the software, I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
okay, freaking works.
Well, I'll have to look into that. I don't do a lot of live recording or nothing like this. This is probably the only live recording I've ever done. So
Oh, nice.
I'll hang out with friends and stuff like that. But yeah, I've never put myself in a video or nothing like that. That just wear gilly the entire time.
Yeah, I was looking at your Instagram, and you have a lot of ghillie pictures in there too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like the crazy like the headdress is usually what I'm always rocking. I'll rock a t-shirt and just the headdress and that's about it. Before we get started, what's your name, friend? I just know you as Trifecta.
Oh, it's
So,
Eric.
Eric, Ben,
Yes.
nice to meet you.
Ben, nice to meet you, bro. Yeah, so my nickname is E-Rock. You'll see on the screen here.
Uh,
And I got that nickname from a good friend of mine, probably like 20 some years ago. So we were business partners, and he said one day he was over to our house and we were talking, and he goes, you remind me of this comic book character of this comic book I used to read when I was a kid. And the character, he couldn't remember the name of the comic book. He said, but the character was Sergeant Rock. And it was this like military guy. I was fresh out of the military when me and this guy met. So and when he would come over to our house, our kids, we had 5 kids in 7 years. So they were all close together in age and they were real little. right? They were toddlers and a little bit older than toddlers, but when him and I met, and he would come over. So, him and I were trying to talk. And kids are running crazy, through the
Mm.
house, and I always had this thing to get their attention. I would say, "Get online," like they did in the military.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they'd be going crazy, and I'd look over and be like, "Get online," and they would all run and line up. There was the separation between the linoleum kitchen floor
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
carpet to the living room. So they would line up there. And I'm like, look, me and John are trying to talk over here. Okay, y'all go down in the toy room, in the basement, or go outside. And and he's like, oh, dude, you remind me of this thing, Sergeant Rock. I said, okay. So he goes, I'm going to call you, instead of Eric, E-Rock. And that's
Mm.
where it came. And so it's stuck ever since. That
And
became my gamer tag, actually.
is that your call sign for Airsoft as well?
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So, and most people just shorten it to E. Most of my friends just call me E over the years. What's
All
up,
right,
E? Yeah, it's just real simple.
that's cool.
So, you
Well,
are One Punch, right? How did you get that?
yes. Oh, it's from the anime One Punch Man.
Gotcha.
Yeah, ironically, that was my first like anime that I got into is One Punch Man, and then it only takes you one round to get taken out in airsoft, so just went with it, and it just stuck.
Yeah,
I also use it. Sorry, I have a cat which is being very, very needy right now.
that's all right, man. Your
Yeah,
background is cool as hell. Why don't you introduce yourself, and then uh, kind of give a little background about your history, and then how you got in airsoft, and then and then go into your background and stuff. That's cool.
sure. My name is Ben, also known as One Punch. I've been playing airsoft for 24 years. I am a nerd. I'm a hobbyist. I'm just all around kind of knowledge geek. Uh, by trade, I'm a mechanical engineer, but I currently am living in Alaska and I work with leather. So I'm a leather tradesman. Yeah,
Dude, that's awesome. What?
I did engineering for 15 years
Yeah.
and I just wanted something different and I was tired of sitting in front of a computer and doing the same thing, and I'm real crafty. Behind me are all of Warhammer models. It is literally just hundreds and hundreds of models that
Oh
I
my
hand paint and
gosh.
build.
Yeah.
So yeah, I play Warhammer, Magic, just all sorts of nerd stuff. But Airsoft has always been the rock, always been the starting point in the hardcore. And yeah, I love whiskey.
Cheers, brother. I'm not drinking tonight, but I am drinking water. So,
Cheers, cheers.
yeah, man. I was crawling under the house today, and I'm putting down new uh, vapor barrier under the house, under the crawl
Yep.
space, and then insulation and stuff like that. So I always gear up a lot because we have a ton of black widows around there that you'll
Mm,
just lay on, and they'll crawl in your neck. And um, so I'm always I wear double layers on my upper body. So like, I wear a sweatshirt or a hoodie over it. So I'm dripping sweat under there. I mean, it's cool under there,
yeah.
but when you're crawling around, like it's about, some spots are like 18 inches high and up to about 24. So it is, you can't really get into a comfortable spot like easily.
Yeah.
Like you're using a lot of muscle to get from spot to spot. So I was sweating my ass off. So I'm definitely hydrating.
Yeah, the double layer under a house. Yeah, that's pretty toasty. What part of the U.S. are you in?
I'm in South Carolina.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. For some reason, I was thinking like you were in New York for something
Oh,
like that.
okay.
But no, but yeah, South Carolina. I know that area a
Probably
little bit.
because I've had so many people on here from the Northeast, New Hampshire, like the whole New England area, and New York, Pennsylvania. I can't count how many people I've had on from Pennsylvania, bro. Like a ton. So you probably thought I was up there as well.
That's funny because it's kind of unknown. There's not a whole lot like my main the place I just moved from was Colorado. Lived there for 30 years. That was like pretty much my airsoft home.
Yeah.
Played at like dozens of fields out there. We got Go Airheads, which is like pretty much like the largest field like in the middle US area. And yeah, no, I'd travel out to the East Coast and stuff, and I only knew of a couple places like out there, like Ballahacks near you, and there's
Hmm.
like a couple places up in like Pennsylvania where they do like a Milsim West or an American Milsim event or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know there was that much in the East Coast.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so South Carolina, we have Third Coast Airsoft. They
Hmm.
host a handful of events pretty close to where I'm at, like 2.5 hour drive from here. There's a big AO they use called GTI. It's in Barnwell, South Carolina. It's a government training institute. It's used by SWAT teams, the FBI, like all kind of specialty military groups and stuff that go out there and train. It's an old abandoned nuclear reactor facility or whatever.
No
And
shit.
yeah, so TCA, Third Coast Airsoft, they host some pretty big events like Stonebreaker. They host there every year. Last one they had, I think, was over 700 people go there, for the Mill Sim. So they're pretty big events, and the AO is pretty spread out and kind of diverse. You got some long open fields and terrain, and then you have part of the open field would be like you'll run into a giant parking lot or what a big, blacktop pad that they've stored just steel racks, right? That they maybe
Hmm.
had used to have inside the buildings and that they just stored out there and just left them. And so they have like long, pipes and all kind of shit that you can, a lot of cool different cover. And as long as you watch your shins around the edges of the those steel racks, But and then rolling kind of berms and hills, right? Small hills, and
Hmm.
then some wooded area. But then the main giant facility in the middle, there's like two of them that are right next to each other, two buildings, and the one building has multiple layers, levels, whatever, because it goes way down, like in the basement. And when you go down there, bro, it's like a scene from a scary movie. It is. They even say, who was I talking to? Dang it, I can't remember who I was talking to. That said, there's a legendary story about a ghost, haunted, like it's haunted down there. That numerous people from different events and different teams in different states that have come there to play have said that they've seen a character down there, like a ghost that's dressed like this. And I can't remember what it was. It was like jeans and this like flannel shirt or
Hmm.
something. And they all had the same story, but it's crazy. It's like these long dark hallways because it's way down in there, and with the pipes running along the walls,
Yeah,
giant
yeah,
pipes,
yeah.
and it echoes like it's just an eerie sound.
That's
So
cool.
it's so
That
wild.
sounds that sounds like a fun place to play.
And it is, unless you don't have ear pro, because the EG67s and the tag ins and bro, in
Oh
those
yeah.
hallways it carries, like you're getting a headache real damn quick. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely suffered some hearing damage from a few copperheads myself.
All right.
No, that's really cool. I'm gonna have to get with you and figure out what that site is for Third Coast
Yeah.
because I've got ties with the Geezer Garrison, so the UK crew out
Okay.
there with names Nico and
Oh
all
shit.
those lads. He's actually a good homie. We go down to South Africa every year. I've had him out. We did trip in Vegas. I've gone out to UK and played out there.
Oh shit, I
But
didn't even know, dude. Okay.
oh yeah, that's
I've seen on your Instagram that you traveled, but yeah, that's cool.
yeah. I about a month ago, I went down to South Africa from Alaska,
Yeah.
which is if you draw a line straight through the earth from Alaska, it comes out 20 miles off the shore of South Africa.
Wow.
So I literally flew over 10,000, it was 10,060
Yep.
60 miles to go play airsoft in South Africa in a wildlife park. And yeah, that was, I think it may be the longest anyone's ever traveled. It was 33 hours to get there.
Woo, buddy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I know
But
what you're talking about, 10,000 miles away. When my first duty station was Okinawa, Japan, and it
hmm,
was, of course, 10,000 miles away. And I don't know, it's 20-hour flight or whatever. But yeah, long time.
Yeah, it was a long time. It's good fun down there, but that's actually how I met name's Nico and Kicking Mustang and like a couple of the other guys and like Silo and Novrich and all those guys. I met them in South Africa,
Okay.
and like pretty much a couple of years ago, I saw that Mustang and Nico were going down, and I'm like, I want to see if all the YouTubers are, like they show on their videos, like see if they actually got the skills to play. Like I've been playing 24 years. I've played every class you can imagine. I've played most every single gun, but I wanted to go meet these people that I watch and see if they got like, the skills and the personality to back up their videos.
Yeah.
And I was not disappointed. Like it's it's a very surreal thing to like go out and like meet like your airsoft YouTubers and stuff like that. It's a whole different thing when you end up staying with them for 2 weeks in the same villa. Like I got thrown backwards into this. I was like, yeah, if I see the guys on the field, that's cool. Like I just meet them. Now the host for South Africa, he booked me in the house with them, and there were all five of us staying in one house together
Oh
for the
shit.
entire trip we were down there. It was fantastic.
That's awesome, man.
But yeah, I fell backwards into an international crew and an international team with the Geezer Garrison, and so I've traveled to the UK for a couple events, like twice now for National Airsoft Festival, like
Oh shit.
3,000 person event, absolute
Right.
madness. Very, very cool. English Airsoft, absolutely love it. They have like beer tents set up and like a stage and everything, and it's like half party, half like airsoft.
Right.
And it's the same with South Africa, Airsoft decks. Uh,
Okay.
Half party, half airsoft, like 60% social, 40% airsoft, and like it's a good vibe. America definitely needs an event like that where
hmm
it's hangout, after hours, you got bars and stuff like that, but during the daytime you got like gameplay out there. But yeah, that was kind of how I started like really traveling and like going places.
Yeah. How did you pick South Africa in the first place? You just said, "Oh, I'm gonna go." And you, like you said, you want to meet these guys, and that was it.
Yeah, that was it. I
Wow.
saw on Nico and Mustang's Instagrams that they were going down to South Africa, and this is like 2 months before the event. And I'm like, man, should I? I just want to like go and meet these people because I really like every like airsofter has their own particular style, and some of them thrive in it. Like Mustang, obviously, ghillie sniping, stealth combat. Name's Nico, close quarters, CQB, rapid fire, military tactics. Then you got Alphonse with like LMG and heavy guns.
hmm
You got Dutch the Hooligan. I'm gonna try and swear less. You got
Oh,
Dutch the
I don't
Hooligan, and
mind. There's no rules on
he's
here, by the way. So
all right, chill.
yeah.
But he's like expert rifleman, and like there's all these different aspects that people have like gravitated towards. At least the people we watch online that they've
Right.
gravitated towards. And I saw on their Instagram that they were going down to SA, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go see if these guys are all about.
Yeah.
And
Had you traveled before, like to play airsoft, like out of the country, or was this kind of because that's a big trip to just go, hey, I'm gonna go check out these dudes and play airsoft. Like,
no, I actually had not traveled out of the airsoft to go or out of the country to go play airsoft.
oh,
That
that's
was my first
crazy,
one.
bro.
Yeah,
That's a
I
big one,
went.
man. Okay.
I've been all over the U.S. playing. I went to Balahack
Okay.
for their Revelations series, their post-apocalyptic airsoft games.
hmm
Awesome games, by the way. Highly suggest those if you're into like Fallout, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Um, been to dozens of mil sims. Copperhead was a big one. We had a couple AMS events out in Colorado.
Yeah.
Played a bunch of those, bunch of Jackal events, and yeah, that was just kind of how I started. It was just okay. I've done like a U.S. circuit,
Yeah.
and then I saw the international guys coming all the way from the UK down to South Africa, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go see. And that was the start of it. And then after that, I did 2 trips to England, 3 trips to South Africa, and within the next like year and a half ish, 2 years, I'm gonna go from Alaska to Japan because it's not that far.
Yeah.
Japan to Indonesia, Indonesia to South Africa, then up to Germany for Dark Emergency, then over to UK, then down to South America, then Mexico, Middle America, Canada, and then back to Alaska. So I'm going to try and do airsoft around the world in 80 days.
Whoa, bro, that's wild.
Yeah,
When are you planning on starting that? That sounds interesting.
I'd probably say about a year and a half, 2 years
Okay.
out.
Okay.
I just moved up to Alaska. I actually had
Hmm.
just celebrated my 1 year up here a week ago. So
Nice.
uh, finally settling down. I'm going to start an airsoft field up here.
Okay.
Um, Something you don't see very often or ever is like snow, airsoft in the cold or the snow.
At least not around here. Like the couple girls I talked to I talked to a girl in Slovenia, and she's like, "Yeah, it's cold a lot here," and they do play in the snow as well because it's
Uh,
cold a lot.
was that Skinny Bitch Airsoft?
No, but she knows her.
Hmm.
This was one girl was in Austria. Should they play in the snow as well? Her call sign is Senity.
Okay.
Um, and then the other one is oh my God, she's gonna kill me. I'm gonna have to
That's
pull
all
up
right.
my
This is what editing's for.
right. Oh my gosh. And yeah. Yeah, I'll have to look for it
All right, that's
actually.
cool. I'm always looking
So
for new international folks.
yeah, absolutely. And there, so I talked to a guy in Russia. Uh, they play in the cold, right?
Hmm.
The girl in Slovenia, they play in the cold. The girl in Austria, they play in the cold. So there it does go on. It does happen. It's just majority of America does not play airsoft in the cold, you
Hmm.
know, because well, I think one of the things is here in America, we have so many different, well, number one, our country is huge compared to a lot of other countries. And we have a really diverse, we have a lot of options, right? So you got Milsim West. If you want to go for if somebody was like, I want to see if I can make it 3 days in the military, right? Go to Milsim West because
Hmm.
it's kind of like that. You might not do shit. You might sit in the back and reload everybody's stuff. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's real life military, uh, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and then they're real strict with their gear list and all that kind of stuff. And then you have AMS, you've got Third Coast Airsoft, you've got, I mean, I can't even name them all, man. There's
Yeah.
so many big ones, and then you've got all these other smaller ones sprouting up that have been doing maybe not sprouting up. They've been doing airsoft events for probably 10 years, but
Hmm.
really kind of smaller with their own groups, but they'll have 400 or 500 people to their events, but they're not well known like AMS or something like that. So
Yeah.
tons of options. So I think people get airsofted out from March until, you know, October, November. And then they go, okay, Christmas time, we're going to chill out, right?
Yeah.
So you don't
Yeah.
really get a
Summer,
whole lot of
fall. Yeah.
snow, right?
Yeah. It's like there's a season for it.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way it is up here. Is it at sometimes it'll be minus 34 degrees Fahrenheit up here, which ironically is only minus 34 degrees C. Like they kind of like almost catch up to each other when you get that cold.
Okay.
Um, but it's like nothing works. Like your AEG will just freeze up. Like gas guns don't expand. HPA and snipers are about the only thing that
Yeah.
works, and even then the buckings will still like get a little wonky. But
That's what
yeah,
I've heard. Yeah.
the spring and like early fall months though, there's definitely some snow that comes down, and you get a couple months of good airsoft up here. And some of these guys, like I played a game out in like a foot of snow, and we had people hiding under trees and in cover, and they're like in all black, and you're like, you're in a white field wearing all black, and this guy just hid under a pine tree and just comes out and just whacks me, and I'm like, what the hell? Like,
That's
it's
funny.
different. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you've ever seen Star Wars and like the Battle of Hoth, where they're on that ice planet and they got the AT-ATs walking around and like they got trenches and like kind of like pillboxes and stuff like that, that's essentially going to be the field that I build.
Nice.
Uh, Going to have an indoor section, so when it is too cold to play outside, you can play indoors and it'll be like CQB. The outdoors area though will be essentially trench warfare. Um, the goal is within 5 years to have this field like fully developed. and I want to have a crashed AT-AT. You know how they wrap the string
Oh,
around the legs and it
yeah.
falls.
Yeah.
So people will be able to climb into that, and like it'll just be like a basic plywood structure with some good carpentry built into it, but you
Right.
know kind of like this not Star Wars theme for copyright reasons kind of airsoft field.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I gotta walk
The
a fine
War in the
line.
Stars, battlefield look. Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna call it the Battle of Hoth, but it's Haath.
Path. There we go. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the Battle of Hoth. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's a
Oh,
work in
that's
progress.
funny.
It's a work in progress. No, but that's kind of my goals are like for the next like while for airsoft for me is do the world tour
Yeah.
and also build the airsoft field up here because we have a great
Bro.
community up here in Alaska. It
Big
is
goals.
growing. It is growing rapidly up here too.
Really?
Alaska is the only state to have a state gun.
A
Other
state
places,
gun?
yeah, they got state flowers, they got state birds, they got all sorts of shit. We got a
Yeah.
state gun.
I love it. What is it?
It's a hunting rifle. It's
Okay.
for it's large caliber. I can't remember what the exact thing is.
Let's look it up.
Alaska state gun. Yeah, everyone is very firearm friendly up here.
Yes, I love that.
It is the 1964 Winchester Model 70. So yeah, it's kind of funny. It's an old rifle, but
There you go.
yeah, there she is. There she is.
This is cool, man.
That's
I didn't know that.
yeah, it's pretty wild up here. Alaska is like the last frontier. That's our motto, and
Yeah.
everyone it's open carry, it's concealed carry, it's constitutional carry is what the actual law is.
Right. Same
But
with South Carolina. So, yeah.
but there's not one dedicated airsoft field up here. We regularly get
Oh,
people coming
really?
out and playing every week, but we don't have a dedicated field. And so that's my goal is to give something for the youth to do during wintertime because when it gets dark and there's nothing to do during the weekends or it's too cold, you go a little you get cabin fever up here. And like
I'm sure.
this is the state that you get it.
Right.
Well, I've met some strange people up here in Alaska, but like
Yeah.
that's par for the course. But yeah,
Why'd you move to Alaska from Colorado? Did you grow up in Colorado?
yes,
Okay.
I am going to be 35 this summer. I spent 33 years in Colorado. I did a 1 year prison sentence in Wyoming, and by that I mean I just went to school up there. Wyoming
Oh,
just
okay.
sucks in general. I didn't actually go to prison.
Okay, okay.
Edit. I did not go to prison. Wyoming is just awful. It's just. But yeah, no. So I've lived in Colorado my entire life. Incredible airsoft scene out there, and it's the reason I moved is because Colorado has 6 million people that live in a line, like straight up and down the Front Range, and it
Really?
was getting a little crowded. In Alaska, our biggest town is like 280,000.
Wow.
I live in a town of 8,000 people.
Yeah.
Like, it's it's living in the countryside, it's living in the woods, it's living in the mountains.
Hmm.
And they're just it's like Norway. But Alaska is very much like Norway.
Okay.
There's fjords where you have just vertical mountains going straight into ocean.
Mm.
It's very beautiful and like something like a fifth of or like a like 1 or 2% of population of Anchorage are moose. Like there's 5,000 moose that live along like 280,000 people and like
Yeah.
it's just a different lifestyle up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, my wife she does alpine skiing, so she's one of those crazy chicks that skis off the mountains in the middle of winter. And there's mountains out here that have never been climbed and never been skied.
I'll bet.
So her goal is to get her name on a mountain that's never been done before.
Wow. That's wild. Did you guys meet in Colorado?
Yeah.
Okay.
We actually grew up down the street, like less than a mile away from each other.
Oh, that's
Ironically,
cool. Yep.
been together 17 years. But
Nice.
she has a dream to go climb a mountain that no one's ever climbed before, and like, that's big energy. Like to have your name on a map, like
Oh, right.
yeah, that's kind of like that's a good part of the reason. Other part is it's wild out here. It's a very subsistence lifestyle where, you get a moose and that's your meat for the winter. Like
For
you
sure.
don't necessarily you don't have to go to like a grocery store all the time. And like,
Hmm.
uh, and going through the whole COVID thing, like I realized people gonna go crazy.
Oh,
There's
dude, for
too many
real.
people in one area and not
Yep.
enough to go around. And out here, it's just abundance.
Yeah.
That's the best word is abundance.
Right. And honestly, most places have that. They just build on top of each other. I never understood that. I understand it, logistically it takes more money, time, energy, whatever to get resources, plumbing, running water and electricity out away from the hub. But like here in South Carolina, we've got if I go out my driveway and go uh west, I'm like, 5 minutes. I've got a shopping mall and it's all the busyness, right? And then if I go east, I'm like out in farmland, like nothing.
Hmm.
There's just fields everywhere. There's like rundown, like empty uh plots of land that somebody owns, and they're like some shack is like overgrown with kudzu, right? You can barely see it through the foliage that's overgrown. I mean, we still have a lot of those pieces of land real close to me that's just miles you can see,
Yeah,
you know. It's wild.
just yeah. Then that's some. It's kind of crazy how like everyone gathers around these urban centers, and they don't have a whole lot of like wilderness experience when it's just
Mm-mm.
like 5 minutes out their door, and they could be in the woods, and it's like you wouldn't know how to take care of yourself without that grocery store down the road.
Yeah.
And yeah, being self-sufficient is something I definitely like plan to like be very skilled at, and I don't think a lot of folks have that planning. But
No.
yeah, you can being out just in the country, it's a different mentality. Everything's quiet. You don't hear sirens constantly.
Right.
Our nearest street light, our nearest street overhead lamp is a quarter mile down the road or more. Like there's nothing here. It's darkness.
That's
So
wild.
we get the northern lights above us. Hey, I'm doing my interview thing right now. Oh, nice. That sounds awesome. You should load that. My wife just got home.
Oh,
Come say
cool.
hi.
She can say hi. Yeah. Hey
There.
there.
Yes. And just chatting about airsoft and why we moved up to Alaska and all that good stuff. And we have we have moose for neighbors. We got moose that walk through our front yard like once a week.
Oh,
And
that's pretty cool, man.
that's dinner walking to your front door. Yeah, we got a bird. It's nicknamed the ribeye of the sky
What?
because they're just the ribeye of the sky.
Yeah.
And it's this bird. It's just a super super tasty bird that you can get, and
Oh,
they're
okay.
they're open in hunting season.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I was going to
it's
ask you
it.
about hunting season. Is it like for moose and all that? Do they have a set time frame that you're allowed
Yes.
to hunt? Okay, gotcha.
However, there is something you can sign up for this list, and basically, there's a lot of moose that get hit on the road out here.
Mm.
I mean, we're talking like between 300 and 400 hit every year.
Whoa,
Um, yeah,
those do some damage to your car, bro. Holy cow.
if you're driving a compact car, their chest, the bottom of their chest, is right about above the engine block, so it just
Ooh.
takes the top right off. Fatalities are very high up here because of moose accidents, and it's one of those things where if you hit a moose, and this could be in the middle of town, like
Yeah.
saw it the other day, and they'll come out and they'll carve it up and they will donate it. They'll donate all the meat. It's like 1,600 pounds of meat.
Holy cow. What a good idea, though.
Yep. And so yeah, while there's a specific moose hunting season, you
Yeah.
can get moose meat year round. It just may have
Just
a few
get
dents. Just pull off the license plate and you're good.
right. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's kind of what it's like up here. And fishing season is it just opened up actually, and
Okay.
the silvers and pinks, the salmon, we get the salmon run that come up here, so
Hmm.
millions of fish, and it's like it's to the point where you can walk into the stream and you can just kick the fish on the side of on the riverbank, and like that's how like plentiful and bountiful it is, and how dense the salmon run gets.
That's actually really good to hear because, for 20 some years, a lot of the scarcity talks that we've heard about different species and all that kind of thing. I think the Fish and Game, whatever wildlife commissions in different places, how they monitor
Hmm.
those things and then probably keep it under control or whatever. It's good to hear that they're still going strong and the waterways aren't polluted and you see these movies, man, that are like true stories, like 15 years ago this factory killed everything within 30-mile radius.
Yeah,
It's terrible. So it's good to hear that
yeah.
you still got all that good stuff.
We're still having a little trouble with crabs. Like that's still something like so crabs are essentially just like the spiders of the sea,
Mm.
and they form in these giant mounds of like millions of them, and they live at the bottom of the ocean in these massive packs, and they swarm around, and they've have been having trouble finding them recently. They don't know if it's due to like warmer waters or current shift or something different, or but yeah, the crab fishing up here has definitely slowed down, but
Okay.
there's still like normal like game and wildlife regulations on how many fish you can pull a day, how many salmon you can pull a day,
Yeah.
but it's still something like 5 or 6 salmon a day, which is when you hit it during the run. I mean, these salmon are massive.
They're big, bro.
There's a phrase up here like down in the lower 48 they measure their fish in pounds. We measure them in feet.
Holy cow.
Yeah, yeah. Like you go out just a little ways in the ocean and you're catching silver, like you're just a couple miles offshore and you're catching silvers, and it is an entirely different game. Like
I'm sure.
it's bass fishing's cool and all. It's fun to hit them when they run, but
Hmm.
there's nothing like pulling a monster out of a river and just being like, I'm at a loss for words for this.
Right.
We're gonna be eating good tonight.
For real. Yeah, what a cool thing. Were you into all the wildlife stuff before, like hunting and fishing before, like when you were in Colorado?
Yes.
Okay.
Um, Ever since I was a young kid, I always like asked my dad. I was like, "Hey, can we go hunting?" Like this kind of stuff. And I actually am the one who got him into hunting, and
Nice.
grew up with Springer Spaniels, so
Mm.
flushing dogs,
Yep.
and we would hunt fowl. We'd hunt pheasant, partridge, chucker, quail, and that was my what I learned on was a shotgun, the good old 12 gauge,
Yeah.
and then just kind of like went up to the next level. Okay, deer. Okay, now we're at moose game, and
Mm.
that's pretty much as big as they get. And it's definitely for a resource and not for a hunt. It's some folks go out and they hunt for like the experience. I hunt for the nutrition and I
Yeah.
hunt for the food, and uh, reuse as much of the material as possible. That's also part of the reason why I got into leather crafting, is because knowing how to use all the parts of an animal and make its value and its life worthwhile, that kind of stuff, and like not let
Hmm.
anything go to waste. So that's another big reason why I moved up here, is because you end up being more appreciative of every little thing that's out here, because there's not a whole lot out here materials resource wise or like game, but when you do get something, it is very nourishing for the soul and for the body.
I'll bet. Yeah, what a cool thing. I remember when I was growing up, I remember reading this book called Flight of the White Wolf. And it was, I think, the first novel that really stuck with me. And because the way it was written, and it was written for, the younger, like I think I was 12 or something when I read it, and it was written for that age group. So it was real easy read, but it was really, really descriptive. So everything was just, it created a really cool picture in your head throughout the whole book. And part of it was this, I think it might have been Alaska where it took place, but it was definitely like in a cold area where they did the dog sledding and stuff like
Mm.
that. So, and it talked about living off the land and these kind of things. And my dad's mother was Crow Indian, American Indian. And so I had that in my blood anyway. So I was always attracted to living off the land and living in balance with nature.
Hmm.
As I got older, and I felt like that. I, really was into that when I was a teenager, into that mentality. And when I got older, I was just like, God, people in general, right? Like when you have conveniences of life,
Hmm.
we're really wasteful, and not just wasteful, but apathetic. Like nobody cares, you know, like what they're wasting and how they're just destroying stuff. They don't care. And I always remember thinking like, I really enjoyed these cowboy and Indian movies, back when I
Hmm.
was growing up, where it showed the Indians and how they lived off the land and just kind of a balance with nature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a lost art, I would say. Like
Hmm.
we've forgotten more than we know currently. And like that's a very like real statement. And so it's like, we definitely take for granted for a lot of the stuff that we can just go out and buy. And it's like, okay, well, what if you had to go out and make?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the whole reason I went for engineering degree, the whole reason I went for leather crafting. The next, like, if I didn't get a job as a leather crafter, I'd go into taxidermy. Still similar fields, like using
Yep.
the resources and stuff like that. But no, it's definitely a lost art, and people have a lack of appreciation for what they have around them.
Hmm.
They're just like, ah, quick, Amazon, buy, cool, this is convenient. It's like, do you know how many manufacturing steps it took to make that product?
Yeah.
Where like that ore, that metal, or that screw came from? It's like, yeah, that's a different level of appreciation. And like, yeah, moving out here like really brought it down. Just like, okay, this is kind of more like how it's supposed to be. You still got the conveniences, like if you need to go get, stuff from the store or a piece of hardware or a tool or something like that, you can go into town and go and get it.
Yeah.
But that tool is going to have a lot more purposes and a lot more meanings than someone down in like a big city and they just got one.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What's up? Ah, yes, yes. I wanted to ask, what is our time slash schedule? Like, what do we?
On this,
Uh, yeah, how long do I have you for?
uh, as long as as long, it's up to you, man. This is your story. So my shortest one has gone like 37 minutes, and with a guy that was in the Navy that was really he was on base when I talked to him, right?
Okay,
Just out of training. And
I'll be
so
there.
when he sat down, he was like sitting straight up, and I was like, "So what's up, man?" And we're talking, and he's like, "Good." And then like for real military, and I was like, so what do you been playing airsoft for how long? Like how'd you get in airsoft? Well, I did this and I did, it was really objective, like bullet points. And so that one went like 37 minutes. It was really cool. But the longest one's gone 4 hours. So it's
Oh shit!
really, yeah, I don't have a time frame.
All
I
right,
don't have any rules. I don't have a time frame. I don't have a format. Like I don't
it's
have
just
to ask.
us hanging out then.
Yeah, it's like I pretend I'm just meeting you. Well, I mean, I don't have to pretend. We're just meeting for the first time. But like if we were
Yeah,
met in real life, at your place or at my place for a cookout, and we're just standing here like, hey, what's up, man? My name's Eric. You're Ben.
cool.
Yeah. So there's no time frame. And the other thing is, I usually have people on a second time.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't try to get a bunch of stuff out the first time. This is a long form. These podcasts are long form, like just
Hmm.
casual conversations.
I
So
watched
this
one or two.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, these are for the people that, they'll listen to it on their way to work, on their way home. They'll listen to it while they're working, if they're able to, and that kind of thing. And some people like to watch them, but
Yeah.
usually most people won't watch the whole thing.
Hmm.
They might watch it just to kind of get a picture of who, put a face
Yeah.
with a name and a voice. But yeah, then they'll just listen to the audio versions. And these are show and tell as well. So like
Okay.
your background, that kind of thing. And then if somebody like one of the guys I talked to a few days ago, a lot of his stuff was in the basement and he didn't, want to go get it, like his guns and gear and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
So I was like, no, no big deal, dude. Well, the next time I have you on, you could do like Alex's gun show or something, We'll
Hmm.
and we'll just do that. You can show off all your gear. So yeah, there's
I
no
just got these guns.
yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
I had to pull
Had to
it.
do it, man. Had to do
So
it.
no, this is like see if I could do this without fucking up the camera angle. So like this is my nerd basement.
Yeah, it
It
looks
is literally
awesome.
just like 3D printers, airbrush booth, and this entire wall back here is all Warhammer.
Yeah.
And then all the airsoft is like right off to the side. And so
Yeah, I
yeah,
saw
I
your
can
patch
definitely
wall, your little
yeah,
patch
I
pad.
definitely oh god, yeah, the patch wall. That's
Hmm.
one of two.
Okay.
Um yeah, this is actually I'm considering taking all of the Warhammer down and putting up all the airsoft back there. There's about 30 grand in Warhammer back there. And
Holy.
that's retail. That's not actually the value of what it is painted.
Right.
It's worth more painted.
Yeah.
But we have earthquakes here in Alaska, and all of those will
Oh,
just go whoop right onto the ground and shatter into a
really?
billion pieces.
I don't think I
Yeah.
ever knew that about Alaska. Okay.
Oh, we hold the record for the strongest earthquake that's ever happened in the U.S.
Okay.
And
Well,
huh?
listen.
Second strongest. Second
Okay.
strongest.
Well, as a just so you know, I barely graduated high school. I slept most of my time through high school. Okay. So
That's all good.
there's some things that would be common knowledge about stuff like that. I'm like, what? Oh my God, I didn't know that.
I'm probably the worst person to be chatting to
Uh,
then. Like, I thrive off of information.
yeah,
I love random facts. I love just knowing stuff. And like Nico, he calls me the wizard just because I know
that's
tons
awesome.
of shit and like I can go in and just like fix something and like it's just magic and like that's kind of how I like to live my life. I'm going for the whole like Gandalf thing with having like
Hmm.
super long hair and long beard
Beautiful
and all.
hair, dude. Really. Like
Thank you.
I'm sure there's a lot of women out there going, "What do you use on your hair?" For real.
Fucking nothing. A
Really.
lot of just that's absolutely nothing. No, it's been a work in progress. It does that. It definitely gets a pain. It's a pain in the ass for airsoft, and there needs to be a product out there where people with long hair can like bunch it up or do something with it because it's gnarly after running it through a ghillie suit for a couple hours. Um, the reason why I wanted to ask about the format
Yeah.
is my wife. She just got home,
Yeah.
and I was gonna go see if I could go smoke a bowl with her real quick and then come back down. Be like
Sure.
2 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Would that be okay? I
Yeah, absolutely.
don't want to leave you like paused or hanging for too
No,
long.
well,
So
yeah, you go do your thing. Actually, my wife just got home 20 minutes ago too. So I'll go say hey to her. I'll pause this and then
okay,
we'll come back.
yeah, water, bathroom, bowl
Yeah.
break.
Awesome.
All right,
Yeah, no
reconvene
worries, dude.
in. Yeah, reconvene in 5.
Sounds good.
Hey, dude, this is chill. I enjoy this format, like just hanging out, chilling, and
Oh, that's all it is, man. It's a hangout. Yeah, one of my buddies said, "Geez, bro, all you do is usually, if I drank or whatever, it's like you and your guests, all you do is just sit here and drink and bullshit." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I wanted. That's the whole point of this podcast." So,
doing the job right.
all right, man. I'll see you back here in a
Yeah, I'll
minute.
catch you in a second.
All
Cheers.
right.
All right.
Yeah, buddy. So check this out. This is you're talking about leather. This is a leather sheath for this this knife
Oh,
that
nice.
somebody made me.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That's cool as fuck.
Isn't that crazy? And this leather
Oh,
sheath, you can see how thick the leather is.
yep, looks like some good 9 ounce.
It is like heavy duty, bro. And this knife is probably one of the sharpest blades I have in the house. It's freaking
That's
sharp, bro.
cool. That's really cool. Is it wood burned in there? I was about to
Yeah.
say. That's
So
that's that's actually really crafty.
So the guy that so you see the T, the blue
Yeah, yeah.
back here. It says join the trifaction. So we called our members in the beginning, we called our members or our followers the trifaction, right?
Okay.
So trifecta, welcome to the trifaction, that kind of thing. So the flag up here is burnt wood, okay?
Yeah.
And
I've been eyeballing your setup.
yeah, so it's I found this flag. Anyone that's heard this story, if you're listening, just skip 30 seconds ahead, okay? Because I've told this story probably 20
Hmm.
times. But so I found this guy. I was scrolling through Instagram early on in our when we started a YouTube channel like 5 years ago, okay? And I'm scrolling through and I see some guy on there, the short video reel, making this flag right here, this wooden flag where it's showing, blowtorch. He's burning the wood and doing the stars and stuff. And I was like, dude, that's cool. So I hit him up on Instagram. I didn't know him, and his Instagram tag was Hateful Hank. So I hit him up. I was like, dude, I want one of those flags. You sell them? He's like, yep. So I bought a flag. Well, then as we're chatting, he finds out who I was. That we'd only started the channel like maybe 6 months, into our channel. And he's like, dude, I follow your channel.
No shit.
Yeah, your airsoft channel. I was like, what? I said, no shit. So
What?
he goes, I'm going to make you something special and send it with the flag. So I bought the flag, and then he handmade this knife and leather
Wow.
sheath and made that LED thing that's also burnt wood with a piece of plexiglass over it with an LED light shining up through it.
Oh,
So if you see it in the in person, you can tell it's burnt wood. So he made all these things and sent them with the flag. I was blown
that's
away.
awesome.
I was just
That's
like, dude,
awesome.
that was my introduction, like
What are
part of
the
my
odds
introduction to the
though?
airsoft community.
What are the odds though that you just
Right?
happen to see this guy and like he just happens to know your channel and follow it and play? What?
Right. It was pretty
Wow.
wild, man. So that's how I got this leather thing. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
No,
Pretty
that's
cool.
that's very cool. Like
And
leather
he's got it,
crafting
so it's
is
hard to see, but he's got a crest on there with the T.
mm,
Dang it. Here
I
we
know,
go.
right? If you put it next to your head level, it'll focus
Yeah,
better.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool, man. That
It's all freehand stuff, yeah.
yeah, right. And
I'm actually
I have a box of I don't know, like um stuff that fan mail type of stuff that was
hmm,
pretty cool. 3D stuff, 3D printed stuff and whatever. But
that's wild. So
that's
like
the only
there's
leather thing that I've got.
that's cool. That's super cool though that like I've this is gonna sound really weird. I just started getting like my first fan thing
Yeah.
this past like Airsoft X. Okay, like you always get like patches and stuff like that. And like anytime I go to an airsoft event or a mil sim, I always try and bring patches to give out to people. Like, they like kill me in a really cool fashion. I'll have candy, a patch, and like a rip off the vape if they want it. Like, just
Nice.
like if you can come up and kill me, kind of thing. And like, I'm lootable. Um,
That's cool.
but one of the nicest things that happened this past Airsoft X in South Africa, this gal came up to me and handed me this like 9 to 10 inch obsidian knife with a paracord wrapped handle. And I was like, what the heck? It's solid plastic, and she carved it out to look like obsidian and then sprayed it black so it had this high gloss to it. And she's like, I know you like getting melee kills with bananas and stuff like that. Here's a knife, use it. And I'm like, oh, this is going on the kit. And so I was doing it today. I'm making the knife sheath for that knife because it'll be a permanent part of my airsoft kit. And eventually I'll have an all leather kit. Like I'm looking at making M4 mag pouches that are leather and they'll be tooled and it'll look really fucking nice. And I've got a bunch of other leather stuff right now. And like, I think that would be one of those, like airsoft is 50% function, 50% fashion.
Yeah.
Truly believe that. And people just want to dress up as cool shit and go out and play. and other people just want to go out and slay.
Hmm.
And I think combining them together into like a crazy leather kit that has like bones and stuff on it is just gonna like it's gonna stand out and it's gonna be intimidating. So again, function, fashion.
Nice. Oh, that's cool, man.
That's definitely one thing I try and go for at airsoft is try and be like a little fucking scary or a little scary as possible.
Did
So
you
like
so you went from engineering to leather. Had you known how to do leather stuff before? Or what made
nope,
you interested in that?
I just thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Probably did it in a past life or something like that, but no,
Yeah.
it feels natural. It feels right. It feels like something that a human has done for thousands of years.
Yeah, right.
And like I'm learning every day. I've been in it almost a year and
Okay.
I'm still learning stuff every day. And like I'm just getting into like the flower carving and like the floral designs and like the really like artsy kind of aspect of it. Because I can make a
Hmm.
holster. I can make a gun holster easy. I can make knife
Yeah.
sheaths super easy. But now I'm getting into like how to take those things and make them like a premium product or like something really nice.
Yeah.
So like never done it before. Just have an engineering and a crafter's mindset. I'm a hobbyist.
Right.
I just walked in and I'm just smashing it.
So the next thing is blacksmithing, right?
It's funny you mentioned that.
You're as you pull out your double-headed sword, your broadsword.
Yeah, yeah, my spy hand. No, no. Well, yeah, I wish. I genuinely wish. That's one thing I think is like if I found one fault is that I don't have enough time to do all the stuff that I want to do and learn all the skills I want to learn. Because I would love to know how to do metalworking, forging, like metal purifying, leather work, and just be like able to build pretty much anything.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
I could see you making your own leather. What do they call it in blacksmith? Is it called an apron? So you're making your own like apron and then sitting here, pounding on some hot steel. Okay.
yep. I've actually started. It's funny you mentioned that because I already have plans for my apron. Because
Nice.
I have a tool rack on the side of my desk, and I'm tired of reaching over to go get the stuff. So I just want to have it on me and just have quick draw. Like
Ah.
I airsoft, obviously, when you build a kit and you put all your pouches in places, you want to have them placed efficiently, where you
Hmm.
can easily access the things that you need most and the utility things like you can have elsewhere. And like that's something to consider. I see a lot of folks build airsoft chest rigs with just a shotgun approach where they just take all their equipment, put it in a barrel, and fire it on there. Um, no, this is like, yeah, I'm building an apron for my work. I'm building, a perfect leather kit for my plate carrier. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's a super fun hobby. And if you can't tell, when I get excited about something, I kind of ramble.
No, that's good.
Yeah, leather. It's also like I have a saying for myself. I have to be very careful about the hobbies I get into. I have to pick and choose them because I get really into them.
Yeah, 100%. Right. You're all in.
I.e., the 30 grand in Warhammer up here.
Yeah, I can see you painting. Like your wife's like, "Honey, what about this?" You're like, "Just don't bother me right now." Just hours of this intricate painting where you're
Mhm.
just like laser focused on this.
Oh yeah, let's see if I got something special. Oh yeah, yeah, we'll pull out something special here in a second.
All right.
That's pretty much exactly the way it goes. There's actually not a response to her. I just kind of sit there and continue what I'm doing because I'm not breathing. Um, when I'm painting a very small detail, and this I've also noticed it with airsoft, like I don't breathe. When I'm looking down the scope or I'm looking at a fucking super high detailed image of a brush or like a banner that I'm trying to paint with a really tiny brush,
Yeah.
it's like painting on a grain of rice. Like
Mm.
I'm not breathing, I'm not moving. I am just this one thing. Yeah.
You get that last stroke and you're like, Okay, you
Yeah.
take a breath and then you go back to it.
Yeah, you're like totally forget to answer the wife. Yeah. Yeah, no, that happens all the time. Like dinner's ready. Oh, thank God. I didn't screw it up. Where was I? Yeah. Yeah, I have oxygen deprived my brain.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I've been playing Warhammer for 16 years. Traveled the country doing the exact same thing I do for Airsoft, going and playing in big events. The best I ever got was I tied for second place out of 200 people. Um, it was intense. Like how like a normal Warhammer game is generally about like 3 to 4 hours,
Yeah.
and you smash out 12 of them in like a weekend.
Holy cow.
Yeah, like you could play 8 to 12 hours solid with like 10-minute breaks in between each game for 2 days straight and try and survive that without screwing up or making one tactical mistake. But yeah, that's I could have gotten first had I not rolled one dice, and I would have won the entire tournament out of 200. Instead, I dropped down for second and then tied. But yeah, no, or any hobby I get into, airsoft playing for 24 years, it's the best physical activity I think I've ever found. Like I get my exercise when someone's shooting at me and I'm running away, or I'm trying to chase down someone and I'm hunting them.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh, that's wild.
yeah, airsoft is like by far the longest hobby that I've got. But next up, Warhammer.
Right?
Yeah, video games. That's fun and all, but yeah, airsoft is like the spot.
Did you were you a gamer at all? Did you ever got into any games like Fallout type of stuff?
I am currently addicted to Fallout very heavily.
Hmm.
When we started our call, I actually had my marketplace open, and I'd like jostle the controller right before I came down, just so it would be open for an extra 3 minutes.
Oh shit.
Yeah, again, very pick and choose my hobbies, and yeah, Fallout got me good. I've been playing for a couple years, and so when I saw like the show came out, that show was so good.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah, people who haven't played it, and now spread the word. There's an airsoft event that's based off Fallout, and it draws 1,000 people every year at Ballahack.
Yeah,
Revelations,
Revelations.
awesome. I think my coins are upstairs. Yeah, I think my coins are
Okay,
upstairs. But I actually have the first year I went was Rev 10. I
gotcha.
survived. Like it was an insane, insane journey to get there. It was like what are those contraptions called where they place a marble on like a wall and it goes through a bunch of different stages and
Oh
like it
yeah.
gets catapulted and then does this and then it drops through a hole and then does
God, I don't
another
know
thing
what
and
those are
triggers the next
called.
one. Yeah, some kind of Hujima what's it thingamabob.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
That's what Revelations Airsoft event is. You're gonna go ping ponging across the map, doing crazy things, jumping through hoops and over things, and like, and then you somehow, if you're lucky, you'll end up in a vault and you'll survive.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been intrigued by his events. Number one, he's really passionate about the events he puts on.
I've met Chris. He's a good guy. I would
Yeah.
say first and foremost, he's like an airsoft dad.
Hmm.
Like he is uh, a dad to the players when you're on the field, and then secondly, he's like a businessman. Like he wants to make sure that you're having a good time. He will go out of his way to make sure that everything is good, or like he goes off to like sign guns and stuff like that. But then he also has it's his field, it's his house, it's his property, so he has like that also behind it, and he balances it better than anyone else I've seen in the world.
Yeah.
He runs a field like true, just absolute nice guy, like airsoft dad. Like come play at our
Right.
field, have a good time.
And he's humble. And one of the things that when I started doing this podcast, I didn't realize until I started doing podcasts where uh, when I would reach out to people like field owners, and a lot of these guys are not, some of the people I'm talking about, they're not well known. They're smaller fields here and there, but some of the field owners are really arrogant, bro. I was just blown away. I was really because the airsoft community as a whole is really genuine. seems like, right? In general, they're genuine, kind, generous, right? That kind of thing, and welcoming for the most part. So I was really kind of blown away that some of these airsoft field owners were just, I don't
Yeah,
know, man,
yeah, yeah.
immature, really, really immature. And when you see somebody like Chris that runs Balahack, it's you can see the humility, the humility. Like he's a humble dude, and he hasn't lost that. It never went to his head. It seems like.
You couldn't have said it better. Like
Yeah,
honestly, he's grown into. I've seen him from when he was like a much smaller channel. I think it was like under 100K subs, and when I started following him years ago,
yeah.
and now he's at like what 1.5, 2 million, some
Hmm.
massive number now. Like he has not changed, and he's just a really cool guy. Like I had nothing to do when I came out and played in my first and second rev, so I just went around the field picking up trash.
Hmm.
Just like it's 1,000 people in an event. It's just like a concert. You're gonna have people dropping like candy wrappers and water bottles on the ground.
Yeah,
And so I just went around like picking up trash, like I'm looting stuff because it's kind of like what you do in the Fallout games. You just pick
yeah.
up stuff like, oh, I can scrap this water bottle for plastic, and and it's like a crafting quest. And like he thought it was fantastic, and I was like, I don't have anything else to do. I'm here by myself. I went to Rev by myself for three times, and I just go into these things. And yeah, he thought it was a really cool thing and gave me like return passes. Like, hey man, if you ever want to come back and play a weekend, like here's some free passes on me. Like you don't have to be doing this. I'm like, it's either me or your marshals, so like
Yeah.
why not help? And like it's just when you play in a field, it's just what you do.
Hmm.
But yeah, he was
That's
a
cool.
super nice guy. Like I really he was one of the first big airsoft YouTubers that I met because he was in the US,
Right.
and he still holds the bar as like one of the coolest people to have met. He's
Hmm.
like even cooler in real life than he is on his videos, and he's like even nicer.
Yeah.
Like
What a
he's
unique
got
thing too, because he started out with the channel, then he's got the field, and the field is his property. So that's very unusual. Most of these event coordinators and production companies, they have to rent out a lot of these places, and because of that, if they don't, if it's a fairly new AO that they're renting, you have it could be a well planned event, but it's going to be it might there might be some it might turn into a debacle,
yeah, it
honestly.
can leave some salt in like the renter's mouth, or just being like, hey, I didn't know
Hmm.
what I signed up for, or like this was too much, or even if just some of like the normal airsoft drama happens, they're just gonna be
Yeah,
like, yeah, I don't want this on my property. Like
yeah,
totally understandable. One thing I have noticed, I don't know if this is an observation that you've made as well, but some of the best fields have been like organic fields. Like you have a structured event where it's like pre-planned, like,
yeah,
hey, we're going to play at this site, or we're going to try and develop this area. Um, the other ones that I've noticed are just like, hey, we're just playing on some kid's farm
yeah.
that his grandpa owns. And that's the story of Go Airheads in Colorado.
Mm,
And their regular weekend play is like 150 to 250 players on like a normal
wow,
Saturday
that's
during the
pretty
summer.
good.
It's madness.
Yeah,
It's madness, and it's like one of the most like slept on fields. But yeah, it's in the middle of Colorado, so like everything can go to it. But it started out with the owner Josh, super cool kid. They would play on his grandpa's farm,
yeah,
and then it just grew to a point where they have so many people playing there that like we're gonna start a shop here. And he acquired the property and he built three airsoft fields on it. And there's a fourth one being built this year.
nice.
And then when I was living in Colorado 2 years ago, we helped put in over 3 miles of Ethernet cable into the ground
Mm,
so that all of the different connexes, they all have light systems and sound systems in them and a button. So you can go up to a connex and press a button and it changes to your team color and it's true
starts
domination.
counting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it has
And
like a
so
counter or something. You get points or whatever.
yeah, oh it's just like kind of like okay, that connex is now glowing, yellow, and like this is for night games. They try and develop the night
Mm,
games a lot.
that's cool.
And yeah, it'll just start glowing yellow, so it's controlled by yellow team. And all these buildings have it. But it started out as a farm. Same with Chris's property.
Hmm.
It started out as I think it was like his uncle's or his like grandpa's property,
Yeah.
and they just had people come out and play in it for years, and then eventually just became a shop. And that's something that's just a correlation that I've seen is some of these organic builds of fields are really, really thriving and become like center hubs. But when you try and like force an airsoft venue onto a place, it kind of flounders.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. One of the uh one of the guys I talked with wants to build a mount site for training, like
Hmm.
it's like the all the CQB training that the military gives. They have these mount sites. It's some acronym that stands for something. I don't remember what it is. But yeah, it was matter of fact, it's Austin from Blue Mag Airsoft. So Blue Mag Airsoft, the guy that started that, I had him on, and the first time I had him on, he was talking about this is what his long-term goal was to do, build his own site that was just like, Ramadi or some of
Hmm.
these places that he's been, right, for
Yeah.
when he was deployed, uh, in war. And they have these military bases have these mount sites they uh, that they train on before they go over. Because he was asking me about it because I was in the military before all of this indoor CQB training. I didn't learn any urban warfare. So I was in before when we were still learning jungle tactics.
What
So I
branch?
still had Marine Corps.
Okay.
Yeah. So see, well, you can't. It's kind of blurred background, but
Mm.
this thing right here is the
I see
raising
the
of the
symbol up.
flag, Iwo
Yeah, I
Jima.
see the. Yeah, I see the up in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Well, this is what he's telling me. The CQB training at those mount sites." I was like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "What? When were you in?" And I said 89. He goes, "Holy shit, dude, you don't look that old." And I said, "I know. I mean,
Savage.
I know, right?" Um, so yeah, I said, "Yeah, no, I was still getting. We got issued jungle boots and learned all the wood. We were still training in the
Yeah,
woods."
it's like the end. That's like the end of Vietnam era training,
Uh-huh. Yep.
and like yeah, there was like
Grenada and all that shit.
yeah, I was say there was like a splash of Desert Storm, but that was probably about the only
Yeah.
modifications to that training
Yeah,
regime.
Desert Storm that happened. So I got out in 93. Desert Storm, what was that, 91?
Hmm.
So I was in Japan when Desert Storm broke out. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so yeah,
yeah,
that training was probably like all Eastern warfare. Like that's an entirely different level of
yeah,
fighting.
I know. And
I'll tell you what though, airsoft though is a great training because you play in so many different environments.
right. Woods, indoor, all that kind of stuff.
Desert
Yeah,
for like Copperhead is a desert.
right.
The DoD defense base in Manituska AMS Arsenal.
Uh-huh.
It's like a mile-sized AO with something like 15 or 20 different maps. Like you got trailer parks, a ghetto, you've got a prison, a school, you've got a
Whoa.
hospital, you've got like all these different sites. I did a video on it, um, and it's like an actual live DoD facility. When I stayed there, they had Black Hawk helicopters going around
Oh
and
shit.
guys doing breacher drills and mortars firing till
Oh
2 in the
shit.
morning. So none of us got any sleep the first
No.
day.
Holy hell.
Like they had a pack schedule, and we're like watching guys with their legs hanging out the Black Hawks, just like flying in to do their drills. Like
Yeah.
super, super awesome site. It is the one AMS event I will go to every single year. I will fly down from Alaska to that event for Arsenal because that site is 10 or 12 different sites in a 1 mile AO.
Holy shit. I didn't know that.
Massive.
That's
Yeah,
wild, bro.
American Milsim Arsenal. But yeah, Airsoft is such a good training for different environments. That one has like a dozen environments all in one. But yeah, we get
That's wild.
desert. Colorado is mountain. You got jungle experience. I don't have any jungle experience.
Yeah.
That's something I never got trained in. That's why I want to go to Japan and Indonesia. Like go and play in these places.
Just go in the woods and be very, very quiet.
So you're talking to a camo junkie here. I love camouflage, and the camouflage and the vegetation and the colors are going to be different in, say, Japan or Korea or Indonesia or like any of those eastern seaboard countries. Yeah, that's I think an entirely different level of airsoft that some people don't realize is out there. Like you
Hmm.
got your speed soft, you got your Milsim. Well, there's the realm of camouflage, which is like the art of invisibility.
Yeah, it is.
And like, if you think you're done with airsoft, guess what? You're not.
You are not my friend.
Oh, you've played everything? No. Now you want to play the stealth game. Yeah.
I want to show you there's a couple things I want to show you real quick because of the stealth thing, and also I need to redeem myself for forgetting this girl's name before. In Slovenia. Okay,
Man's got to save himself.
I'm telling you.
Crawl out of that hole.
So
Spella Damala.
yeah,
Spila?
Spelatamela. So this is so she's the one in Slovenia. That's her. If you look her up on Instagram, that's her Instagram thing. But what I did was on our Discord. Shout out to Balrog Zeb for giving me the idea to do this. What I wanted to do was
Holy shit.
categorize all the places of people that I've done podcasts with. So everywhere that what I did was I just put a link, the YouTube link for the video for the podcast for wherever anyone, that's in this. So I've got America, so each state, right? And then I've got all the different countries that people I've talked with. So speaking of uh, the art of invisibility. So Lowe, he is acquaintances and friends with Kiki Mustang. He's a sniper as well. Dude, you need to go look at his scope. Okay. It's a longbow, I think it's called.
Okay.
It's crazy, bro. Okay. Just look up if you look him up. If you click on that video, I've got
329.
his link on there. All his links for socials, and he posts on mostly on Twitter is where we found each other. I don't think he's too much on Instagram, but this scope he has, I forget how many thousands of dollars it is, but it's very expensive, and it's thermal. It's all of it. Okay, IR, thermal, like everything. And the way when you look through the scope, it splits the top and bottom. So it'll have the thermal vision, let's say below,
Okay.
and that is, I think it's
Oh,
a 2 times zoom or a 4 times zoom, and then the top part is dude, it's insane. Okay, you got to
what?
check it out. But he is a
I've already
airsoft.
pulled it up. I've already
Okay,
pulled it up. I'm
okay.
gonna dive right into this as soon as you're done. I've been hunting for this. I've actually considered doing one tube night vision, one tube thermal.
Oh
But
yeah.
if you're saying there's a scope that does this,
Oh dude, no look.
all right.
I'm not going to play this whole thing. I just want to get
Yeah,
to the part
you
we
probably know where
actually
it's at.
we pull it up on screen.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought. Yeah, yeah.
So I think I went to the website. So he shows how the screen looks or what he sees when he goes through the
Oh
screen
yeah, yeah.
capture.
I just saw it on the vertical reel. Yeah, back like
Yeah.
2 more seconds. Oh, that's interesting. So black and white
So
thermal on the bottom,
right, see
and
that?
then yeah,
So the natural view on top, and it's more zoomed in, I believe, on top. And then on
yeah.
bottom, and this is what he sees when he looks through the scope. But if you look up this scope, I think
What?
it's like 13 grand or some shit. I don't know.
What?
I'm not kidding, bro.
What?
And he plays airsoft with it.
Hey.
I said, okay, Moneybags. All right.
Oh my god. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. It's like playing with real knots and no insurance. Like,
Now look at this thing. It's beautiful though. Look at it. It looks like I'm
pulsar.
sleeping right here.
Oh, okay. Okay, hang on, hang on. Don't mind
Pulsar.
me. Pulsar thermal. Chow.
I think I've got the
Holy shit.
link. Is it?
Oh,
Is it 13?
one of them's at 8 that I just saw, and that's
Okay,
not
8
the
grand.
right one. So I know, like, I bet you the one that he has is probably
He
13
sent
because
me
they
the
are.
link to it. Okay, let's see. Sniper mechanics, longbow. Here we go. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Yeah, so this is oh, he told me which one it was. Let's see here. Silverback, I think. Oh, that's the rifles.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's.
Yeah. And he does run a silverback.
Wow, that is
It's pretty wild
absolutely
though.
insane. So I'll
So you'll have to look into it, man. It's he said it's like cheating with sniping.
so show and tell moment.
Yes.
This was what got me into sniping in the first place. This
Ooh, bro. That is
is
beautiful.
an SSG 24 with the rosewood stock, Mars
Dang, that's
rail,
pretty.
fluted barrel, fluted cylinder, and the kicker is it's got full thrust. This also is equipped with the ATN night vision scope.
Ooh, that's
So
pretty
this
too,
is
man.
a digital night vision scope
Okay.
that does range finding, one shot zeroing, night vision, recording, and I think like 2 or 3 other functions on it.
Holy shit.
So like this guy that's
That's
just
pretty
showing me
similar. That's
low,
pretty similar.
he's right up my alley, and I'm just like, man, I got a $3,200 sniper right here,
Uh-huh.
and like that piece of optic is fantastic.
Dude, that's
So
amazing. That's a
man,
beautiful
after
gun you got there. When did you
I
get
am
that? You've had that for a long time?
since the that's a batch one SSG 24.
Okay.
So like since the original release, I'm a sucker for wood.
Oh yeah.
So of course I have the wood RPG, and this is actually from a real wood RPG.
Yep.
And then the old replica. This is the one that was actually like full metal from way back in the day. And then
That's awesome.
HD wood shotgun, the Jag scatter gun. I'm making a shadow box
Yeah.
for all of my guns.
Okay.
It's gonna be nice velvet red background, fucking uh, baseboard, like crested, lit up back border on it, so it'll be nice and framed. And it's just gonna be wood guns inside of there.
Oh, that's cool.
Sniper rifle, shotgun, RPG.
We got one of those RPGs or something, similar. I can't remember what the brand was, but we got one in one of the mystery boxes we did for Airsoft GI.
Probably the Matrix.
Yeah, Matrix. Mm-hmm.
Yep, guarantees the Matrix. So this model is from about 10 years ago. Oh God, I'm gonna age myself.
You've
Probably
already relived
more.
that, bro.
Yeah, probably between 10 and 15 years ago. But yeah, it was one of the first RPG manufacturers out there. They don't make them anymore. The company either got eaten or something, but yeah, it's very heavy, and yeah, the Matrix one, I wish it was as good as this one. Otherwise, I have like multiple. The dream
Right.
was to have a Jeep. I do have the Jeep.
Nice.
Have the M134
Wrangler.
minigun. Yeah. Oh, two door.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The way a Jeep
CJ
should be.
5, CJ 7.
Yeah. I got Rubicon Hard Rock, and
Nice.
I wanted to put an air tank. Put the M134 6-barrel minigun, the one that's a $3,400 gun. I used to own one of those. I
Awesome.
wanted to CNC out a mount so I could attach it to the rail system, so you could have a gunner stand up and back, and then you'd have the passenger and driver, and then I 3D printed Law rocket launchers for the roll cage so that the driver and then the passenger could fire. because it takes 2 shots to disable a military or to disable
Mm.
a vehicle in an AMS game or any of the
Uh-huh.
other games. And so you just be this Jeep with a minigun and 2 rocket launchers mounted on the sides that you'd essentially just like act like a torpedo and just like face the right vehicle and then just cut down all the troops. Like that's the like airsoft dream. Maybe I'll put that like 10 years out, but
Right.
I was this close to being able to do that. I got the laws, I had the minigun, I had the Jeep, but yeah, I just didn't assemble it all.
Oh, that's cool though.
Yeah. But have you seen the guys at Border War in Germany and
Mm-mm.
or Czechoslovakia and Dark Emergency?
No, I haven't seen it, but I know that they run. Somebody was telling me from one of the other countries I talked with, they were talking about it where they run like it looks like a full military exercise. They have
Yeah,
APCs, tanks, like all kind of shit.
the full shebang.
Uh-huh.
And it is one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen. I have yet to do it myself, but that's what I'm kind of hoping to do in the future is to go to some of these because like that's like you said, you want to go spend 3 days in the military, join a Milsim West, and go get your butt kicked because you're
Yeah.
going to be rucking out and rucking in everything you need,
Yeah.
and it's going to be you could possibly be fragged in your tent at 3 a.m. in the morning while you're sleeping.
Right. There you go.
Sleep with iPro on. Like I think that's amazing.
Yep.
Moon's out, goons out. Like let's
That's it.
go. Like
Uh-huh.
let's go on a little walk. um, that's I have yet to do a Milsim West event. I want to.
Yeah.
I have a few people who are ex-military and like they're very aware of like hand signals. They're very aware of
Mm.
their sound signature.
Hmm.
Um, and like it's the only way I would do a Milsim West is if I could be with like ex-military folk who also understand these things. I'm not ex-military, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
I do understand the importance of a lot of these like training tools.
Sure.
And like you just can't find that at a Mils or an American Milsim game. And like if you ever want to go do a Milsim West, like hit me up. I'm I'm about it. I am ready to go. I got, night vision sniper. I've got all sorts of toys, but let's yeah.
Reach out. So Blue Jean Operator, I follow him on Instagram and YouTube.
Okay.
He's part of the cadre over there. So hit him up. And also Mr. Off Topic. Do I have him listed on here? Let's see. He's in Tennessee. Dude, when I started putting this list together, no, I didn't put it in here yet. But when I started putting this list together, like breaking down all the different states,
Hmm.
people that I've talked with, where they were at, and all that, I'm like, holy shit! I've talked to 20 people in the UK. I've talked to, and probably people you met when you were at this event, um, or when you've
You
gone over there.
you earned a lot of respect for me when you showed me that list of all like you have everything documented. You have the people you've talked to from all the different places you've been to. Like
Oh,
that's
thanks,
a
dude.
very like respectable thing for one, but that's also a very powerful tool.
Thank you.
Like
Well,
I
that's the purpose of it. My mission on here is to get people's stories out there, and this is a good venue to do it because there's not a whole lot of uh, people get personal sometimes in here. They don't have to, but I think because I don't have a strict format, and because I don't
hmm,
have and I love people, like I genuinely love people in real life and on here and whatever. So I'll ask questions that sometimes, like I'm not afraid to offend. I'm not trying to offend somebody, so it's
yeah.
coming from a good place. So like one of the guys I talked with, he said he was 52. He was airborne or Army special ops, whatever, for Army Ranger for 20 years, retired Army. And he was talking about his childhood growing up. I said, "Did you grow up over here? This kind of thing, whatever." He's like, "No, I was actually orphaned. I grew up in like an orphanage, that kind of thing." And I said, "Did you ever get closure with that? You know how people like, did you ever try to find
Hmm,
your parents,
hmm,
your biological parents?" And he said, "You know what? I've never told this to anyone, but I just found my mom like 3 months ago. And now we did the podcast back in March of this year. He just passed away. He had a
Oh
massive heart
shit.
attack in the first week of May. Um, so and he wasn't one to like put all his stuff out there like online.
Yeah. Yeah.
So his wife, her and I have been talking and stuff. I'm going to send her this box with this letter that I was going to send him, and also a thumb drive or flash drive with the recorders because I save all these on a
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
drive,
yeah.
and of course they're uploaded everywhere. But I'm going to send her that. But she loves to go on here. She'll go on and listen to his podcast just to hear his voice. But he got personal,
That's awesome.
So I'm not trying to make it like, oh, come on here and tell your story. It's a serious thing, but this is something that's almost like timeless. So the reason that's part of my mission is doing these podcasts because of where this came from. I was paralyzed a few years ago, and coming out of being paralyzed is what was why I started this YouTube channel in the
Holy
first
shit.
place. So I needed something to do to not kill myself. Okay. and, uh, and
Yeah.
so talking with people on here became my therapy. And I'm not shitting, man. Like it really helped me. I was on prednisone. I was going nuts. I could barely move around, but I had all this energy, and I was used to being very active and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So talking with people on here for a couple hours like really really helped. And and after doing that for a while, and after I was starting to get better, I said, you know what? I really want to make this a real podcast and kind of give back to the community. So that's
Yeah.
kind of where it came from. But so organizing these and indexing all these on this list is this is for when I'm gone. Okay, this is so that
Yeah.
people can go on here and find this stuff. So if you go to UK, if you're traveling to UK and you want to see, what about this guy? Or so I had Blackbeard, is his call sign.
Yep.
He plays, you might know him. He plays with James Nico. Kiki Mustang, I've had on twice. Uh, Mother and Milk, they're dad and son. Like all these different or guys, Scuba, the Harmacist, and then all these girls that are on here that they go to the Airsoft Festival.
Hmm.
Airsoft Cat, Maverick, Magaz, Englefield Echo. She was the first girl I had, first female I had on here. And Freelance and Red Panda, Vixen, Gem, Tactical Fox, Yankee Tan, Airsoft Vixen, Red Panda, Alex Hillary. Yeah, so it's, and then Low, the sniper. But
Yeah.
this is now you are going to be my first one in Alaska. So I have no
Nice.
Alaska in here. So
You got
yours will
anybody
go
from
under,
Colorado?
yeah, I've had, uh-huh. Yep. Let's see. I've had Atlas,
Okay.
Spaz,
I know
those
Spaz.
those are the only two. Spaz Gustic and Atlas.
Yeah. I know both of their channels.
Okay.
I think I actually might have played with them before.
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, that's funny. I'm happy to be your Alaska guy. That's the
Hell
point. Is
yeah.
like that's way out there. Like
All right. Well, I put out on my Twitter, I think it was on my Twitter, maybe on Discord, or a couple of them. I put out a map of the US
mm,
that was colored in all the states that I had, had people on from.
that's
And I put
awesome.
out a message saying, hey, I need somebody from these different states that I don't
Yeah.
have filled in yet. I want to fill
Yeah.
that in before the end of the year. So my goal is to hit 400 episodes. Uh, the 400th episode is going to come out on New Year's Eve. So
Okay.
December
That's a good
31st.
plan. Yeah.
And then I'm at you're number 340. So, and I release 2 a week. So I'll have to fill in some, here and there, do some special ones. But
That's putting in work.
last year, so for a year and a half, I did 3 a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm not
I
shitting,
saw
bro.
I saw the count when I was
Yeah.
like doing some research, obviously, like when you reached out and stuff like that, and like you hit me back up. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a bit more like research into the guy, and like I saw that the number count was above 300, and I'm like, how long has he been doing this? Like, that's really impressive. Like, that's huge.
Yes,
You may singly like have the largest database of airsoft international like interviews, connections, like all that stuff.
it
Like
might be.
you may be alone in this in that world. Like
I it might be honestly, and that's the thing was it wasn't my goal, right? It was I would the way that I found a lot of these people was the way I found like Spaz led to Atlas, right? Because they know each other,
mm,
and then I can't remember how you and I met. It was a comment or something on somebody's thing. I don't even know, and that's how a lot of them were. So a lot of these guys in Tennessee, I've had, bro,
oh shit,
a
man,
ton of people in Tennessee.
I know
So
literally no one in Tennessee. So you
really,
are shedding new information on the wizard. We
oh
need to be
yeah,
in like regular contact, my friend,
oh yeah,
because I'm looking at a place down in Argentina.
okay,
Like there's a lot of other different places. Like I know you probably don't have South Africa on your list.
I do.
Uh, you do
I've
have it.
Yeah, I've had two people on
Oh
here.
shit. Who have you had?
I had here, I'll pull it up for you. Hold on.
Cherry bombs. I know cherry bombs.
Cherry bombs, yeah. Had
Yep,
them
yep,
on.
yep.
They actually did the podcast at the field.
Yeah,
Um,
they're pretty chill from what I've seen. I've actually no, I played with them in Airsoft X. I have footage with them.
oh shit, dude, that's
Holy shit. No.
cool.
Oh my god, they were at the shooting
One of their
contest.
girls just got
Yes. Oh my
married
god, it's
too.
the
I follow
cherry
all of
bombs.
them on
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations again to Cherry Bombs if you're listening to this.
Hell yeah. Shout
Um,
out Cherry Bombs. And then I don't
um,
know, do you know this guy? Um, Let me turn this on. He's a sniper as well. He's an older dude. Let me pull the screen up real quick. He takes his stuff off here in
there
a
he is.
minute. And I can't remember his name. It's probably in the listing. This is like 2.5 years ago.
Maybe. I'm not
Um,
sure if I have, but like uh, at Airsoft X, I ran into hundreds and hundreds of people. So like,
Let me
I was
see.
also very drunk.
Right.
Um,
Crisis Airsoft is his
all
Instagram. Oh,
right, all right.
no, he
Let
took it
me.
down. Okay.
No, oh, she.
But if you watch this, you'll see about him. He does the um he gets a bunch of the young kids together and puts a
Yeah,
game
I'm
on.
seeing that.
Like they
I'm
just
seeing that.
throw a game together and get it going. But yeah, I've had those two on from South Africa. I had a girl on from Pakistan. she was she had just she fled Pakistan and was in where was she at when she did the podcast? She was in a different country. I can't remember. Um, Germany or something. Uh,
Shit.
but anyway, so she fled and she talks about this on the podcast. She talks about her mom, her sisters, and I asked her, "Do you feel bad like, when you because she was kind of like the black sheep of the family and when she
Mm.
goes back there, she gets, she kind of has to hear it from her mom kind of thing. But so we did a podcast together. I can't remember when this came out, but it's probably about 2 years ago. And I'm not bragging when I say this, I promise you. But this is what happens when I meet somebody on these podcasts is we did a podcast 2 years ago. We probably commented on something here and there on the same thing on Instagram or something. She reached out to me a month ago. She was in a bad spot. She was like, having a hard time. She just needs somebody to talk to. So we sent the voice message, voice recordings
Yeah.
on WhatsApp back and forth. I was actually out working and she was like, "Thank you so much. I feel so much better." Whatever. So she had a bunch of shit going on in her life. So I mean, this is the kind of stuff that happens, and I didn't plan on. I didn't know.
For all
So
those watching and listening right now, this is me clapping in a fucking applause to Rock over here. No, that is truly like the definition of airsoft, bringing people together, even from like across the world, kind of stuff.
yeah,
Like that's actually really big. Like that's super cool that you were able to help someone out that you literally just had on a podcast, and it was like a random encounter, and she reached out, and like you were there, and the only reason that you know each other is from airsoft.
that's
Like
it.
that's
Hmm.
that is a that shows that it's a foundation sport that you can, make new friends. And like you even see this with like some folks that come out to the airsoft field who may not be like socially adept. They come out and they can have a good time and they can meet a ton of people and have a normal conversation.
Exactly.
And like being able to do that, like I have a lot of respect for what you do on your channel. Like that is
Thanks, man.
very, very cool. And I have some people that like obviously you should get in touch with, and like you can reach out to, and like that's a big tool that you've created. Like that's, if you think about it, that's kind of like how humanity works, is that someone spends a lot of their time and a lot of their life and their energy doing something, and in hopes that it contributes to like the rest of the other people. And that is one of those tools, and I can honestly say that you've succeeded in doing so, because like this tool, if exposed to some people or even like the right people, can be a very powerful connecting device. Like you can literally link up people from all over the world who may even be neighbors to each other and didn't know they exist. Like I had
Didn't
no
know it.
idea. I didn't know Tennessee had airsoft, and now because of you, I want to look at these channels. I want to go find them. I want to go play there, and like it's just exactly the same thing as the international uh, quest that I started. Like going to South Africa and meeting the UK YouTubers and seeing if they are who they portray themselves as. But
Hmm.
like you are now doing this for like the entire community. So yeah, you have my like 10,000 hats off to you, man, because that is a really, really cool like life project.
I
Like if
appreciate
this
that.
if this is what you like drew sanity from, like I can only thank you enough for like this being a device that like I can also interact with.
Hmm.
And genuine, like I do want to like hang out with you after this, because there are other places that I have not been to. There are other places I have not camouflaged in.
There's other places
And
that you have not been seen in, not
yeah.
been not seen in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not been seen.
Uh,
No. No, but like that's actually a really useful tool, and like airsofters, if they knew more about this channel and this tool, and like, hey, you can look at, pull up your country, pull up your state, pull up whatever, and see these other people that are playing, either recording and putting footage out, or just like run a field or something along those lines. Like there are like AC3.
yes.
It's an airsoft app where you can type in local fields. Like that's how I
Hmm.
found stuff in Alaska. Like there's a field out in Fairbanks,
Yep.
and this
I
is
reached
like
out to
that.
those owners, whoever started the website,
Yeah,
because I found their website like 2.5 years ago, and I tried to reach out to somebody there
no
to have them
reply,
on to like go over that stuff because I thought it was a really cool idea.
no
I never
reply,
got a
or
response.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think they may have just set it up and then walked away, kind of
yeah,
thing,
that's
because
what I've
that's
heard.
kind of like the platform hasn't got any updates, hasn't done
Right.
anything. It just exists now
Hmm.
in the internet. But like this would make this now like the forefront of that, and combining that information with that, like, and like Discord searches and Reddit and stuff like that for local airsoft groups in certain places, like you could easily very much have probably one of the like largest collective databases of
Well,
airsoft fields.
what would be cool? What I thought of when I reached out to him was one of my goals was to try to maybe combine with them to get these links to the video, either the audio or video, either one, uh, for people that go to that field that they have listed on their map, right? So when you hover over that little dot, like on their website,
Mm,
that a list, just like what I have here on my Discord, that list would pop up, maybe a drop down list or whatever that would show
Show you the
all these
field, show you
people
who plays there.
and then
Like
all these interviews. It'd
I
be
would
kind of cool.
I would love to see something like if everyone got like a drone that they like it'd be just this is just me spitballing,
Sure.
kind of twisted here, but I'm pulling it together. Um, imagine you had a company or an idea where you send one drone and like a QR code and the controller. And what you do is you have to take this drone out and fly it around your field, put it back, and then ship it to the next field. And you upload your video to a giant database or a company's email or some shit. And you literally just pass this drone around to all these different fields. And you could literally see what it's like to be on that field, what they have to offer, that kind
Mm,
of stuff. That you can even throw in like a 60-second like highlight clip of, hey, we run this field, here's what we got, come out and play.
yeah.
Or here's our local players, here's some people that like record here, or like, here's our expansion plan. And so you literally just get drone footage of field
Right.
and then you get a 60-second clip about it.
Hmm.
And it's just a program, and this could be like a potential like business idea where like your startup cost is like what, 2 grand,
Hmm.
and all you do is you fucking buy a DJI one or whatever the name is for that nice drone
Yeah.
and a controller, and you ship it and you insure it, obviously,
Sure.
so people don't
But you
screw
ship
you.
it to people you know and trust.
Yeah, and you'd be like, hey, look, take our drone out, scan your
Hmm.
field. There's also an app or a way to scan something with a bunch of pictures, and then it'll map it out for you. I
Yeah.
saw this down in South Africa last year. They scanned a CQB field and it created all the walls and all the cars and all the
Yeah.
stuff in it. And I was like, holy shit, you could recon a map.
Uh-huh.
And like as a business idea, it's like, okay, cool. You can pay $5 a month or $5 whatever entry, $20 whatever, and you have access to every field in the world, and you know what it's going to look like, and you know what it's going to be at least from an outside perspective.
Hmm.
They want to be more intense with indoors, sure, but eventually, over the course of a couple of years, you pass around this drone or a fleet of drones once you expand, you can hypothetically map the airsoft world.
Hmm.
Like, no pun intended, you could map it and then have links to it and then link everything together. Again, just a whiskey dream right here, but at the same time, like,
Yeah.
realistically, with some of the like fuck you money that people have, if
Right.
someone got into airsoft and was like, yeah, I could totally see that being a good idea, like in 5 years time you could probably have that drone travel the world and just ship it everywhere
Yeah.
and have people scan fields like Anzio is the last video I did, and it was confusing as shit.
Speaking of your videos, do you have what do you have, a YouTube channel? I didn't find it on
On
your
my
Instagram.
Instagram, wow, this is gonna be really
It
funny.
says YouTuber, and then I was just like, where?
I suck that bad. Holy shit.
It's like,
All right,
where's your
no,
links, bro?
I am the worst YouTuber in existence. Let this be your intro, is I am the worst YouTuber in existence. I have no idea how I have 18,500 followers. Please, what the fuck am I doing? No, I didn't link my YouTube channel to my fucking
What is it on your
Instagram.
Facebook? I think I
It's
saw.
One Punch Airsoft on YouTube, but I am gonna laugh so hard if I didn't do that.
Yeah, your bio doesn't have.
Oh my god, I suck. All right, I'm gonna do this right
Remedy
now
that
while we're. Oh
right now.
fuck, dude! For those
Okay, here
of
you
you
go.
who are watching this podcast,
And I
you
just
can see
subscribed.
how red my face is right now. This is not from the whiskey. This is from embarrassment.
Well, I didn't mean to embarrass you, man.
Oh my god, this is awful.
Well, it won't matter in a minute here because I'm going to share the
That's
screen and everyone's
that's
going
a
to know about it. And also the link's going to be in the description. But
big fucking yikes. No, that gives you kind of an idea how like backwards I fell into this. Like I'm essentially just stumbling over my feet somehow into this airsoft world and like talking with cool people. Like I have no idea what I'm doing.
you're good, man. This is good. I mean, you've got some impressive videos too.
Oh, I
I like
think
your shorts.
I've kind of been slacking a little bit on them, but I do have. I'm back after moving into Alaska. I had to like take a break and do
Oh,
once a
I'm
month
sure.
video, and
Yep.
then I took a 4 month break. But
Okay.
I came out swinging because I missed it, and like our airsoft season is starting back up. Problem
Right.
is being like a hyper nerd like I am, I can only really do stuff like when I'm actually doing. Like I can only make content on stuff when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And when it's minus 34 degrees Fahrenheit, you can't do anything outside. So I like
No.
paused for the 4 months of wintertime. And then as soon as spring started up, I've been every single weekend since spring started.
Well, that's one thing I will say with you guys that are doing gameplay, right? Gameplay stuff. Uh, I know putting out two when somebody tells me, "Oh my gosh, you put out two podcasts a week," like I'm literally sitting here in my office. Okay, I know it takes time to record, and I got to, I don't edit content out of the podcast like once we start, unless we have like a pause, that break, or if there's like a technical issue.
Mm.
But I just cut the ends off basically from like the beginning part until we pretty much get started. And then the end where there's a little gap once, from the time we say see ya or whatever until I
Mm.
click the button. But that's it. I don't really edit. So it doesn't take a long time to do these videos as far as editing, that kind of thing. So it's not anything like gameplay stuff, okay, which I've done.
Ooh.
And gameplay is, bro, you better take, it's going to take a long
It's a
time to
second
edit.
job.
It
It's a
really
second
is.
job.
It really is. So, yeah. Anyway,
8 to 20 hours is about the range I've found for one of my videos. Eight to
yeah.
20 hours. I've just had so much to do, and I have what's thankful. Like I'm glad to be back in it. I'm glad that the seasons has picked up because it's got me motivated. I have this video I just dropped, and I have 3 others already queued up that are at least 50 to 80% edited. So like I'm
Nice.
back in the swing of things, and like I'm still gonna keep a healthy like 1 month of post or 1 month of video.
Yeah.
The 2 videos a month routine is draining. It really like it just not was what comfortable, and I think that I can like reel it back and just be like, okay, this is what I want out of
It
this.
starts feeling like work. And then it becomes drudgery, man. It's like you dread. I've been in that spot where I've had to like,
Yeah.
dude, this is not fun anymore. Like I've started out trying to put out content to have fun, and I feel like I'm working a job.
Yep.
Hmm.
That's actually one of the funniest parallels, and I like rediscovered this the other day between the show One Punch Man and like my channel is like he goes through and he becomes like he was just a dude fighting monsters. And then he like joins the Hero Association and starts fighting monsters for someone at the company. And he's just like, I kind of lost why I was doing this originally. I fought monsters
Mm.
because enjoyed fighting monsters. And like the same thing happened with me. Is like I started this channel just to like record the BS that happens on the field, record the funny stuff that happens, and then I slowly started to take it more serious. And now this is me stepping back and then coming back to the table like, okay, I don't have to take it this serious, but I can still enjoy producing stuff.
Hmm.
And like the last video with Name's Nico was an absolute riot. He does a lot more like serious, like, British ex-military videos, really good content.
Yeah.
And I played a bunch of roles in like the B footage and stuff like that. It was good fun. It genuinely felt like, the old days when you're screwing around with your buddies in the backyard with airsoft guns.
Yeah.
Like, and like that's kind of the mentality some people just got to get back in. It's like, you don't have to go out and make amazing plays and get tons of kills every match you play. Sometimes you just got to go out there and just screw around and like just pretend to be a kid again or be a
Hmm.
kid again in the sandbox and just shove some dirt around. Like just
Right.
pretend you're a soldier with a fucking green army men and like go have fun.
Right. Yeah, no shit, dude. Yeah, you've got a ton of videos too, man.
And this
South
is
Africa.
after the purge. I had, I think, like 50-ish videos before I purged.
Okay.
And it was just poorly edited content, just like
Mm,
old stuff.
yeah.
Huh?
And you just deleted it.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't doing super well. And I was like, screw this. And now I look at it and I'm like, I wish I didn't do that. Son of a bitch. Why did I do that?
When I first started talking to people, I asked them, did the people that had channels, I said, did you ever delete any of your original videos? And some of them said yes, and the ones that said yes regretted it. Uh, and then the ones that said no, they were like, I always wanted to see the progress of the channel.
Hmm.
Just like, okay, you start out and your first couple videos are really just nasty, bro. Okay. Like
Upload, no
they're cringy. They're
transitions.
cringy.
Ugh. No color correction, nothing. Yeah.
So, and honestly, I use that for ours as well because that's why I was asking them because I was like, I was thinking of doing the same thing because once you get a little bit better with editing and this kind of thing, and then of course on and feel more comfortable on camera, I thought I'm going to go back and delete these because they're kind of shitty and these guys were like, so I heard both sides and I was like, no, I'm going to leave them on there, whatever. So, yep.
Let's put it this way. There's my oldest video is 4 years ago, and I've been recording for 7 years.
Oh,
So I
wow.
purged a lot. I purged like I think I actually probably had more like 80, 90 videos. And I also deleted the footage to free up space for more footage. Instead of buying another external hard drive like a smart person, I deleted old
Uh,
footage because I
yeah.
didn't want to spend the money and I was a cheap bastard. Um,
I've got a 10 terabyte external right now that I'm using
yeah.
that I got for when we started the channel. I've got 3 terabytes left. I've got a 2 terabyte in the closet behind me, and I've got a 2 terabyte in the
Oh my
closet in the other
god.
room. So I've
Oh
only
my
now the
god.
two separate terabyte, 2 terabytes, ones, the separately ones, those are untapped right now. I haven't used them. I haven't had
Okay.
to use them yet. So it's just, I'm still on the 10 terabyte one, but yeah. And plus, this goes out to all the stuff. So, but, I'm going to tell you what I do to save space. I
Hmm.
record these. It goes onto in my folder that I specified, whatever. Okay. A 2 hour video might be, uh, some kind of gigs. I don't know, maybe 3 gigs, let's say. Okay. When I upload it to YouTube, their compression tool is freaking amazing. Whatever they do to compress the video
Hmm.
is awesome. Okay. And 90% of my video views from the podcast are on phones. So
Yeah. Yeah.
they're not blown up. Okay. So you don't need a huge resolution and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so I upload it. And then once it's on YouTube for a few minutes, right, you're able to download it.
Yeah.
So that I go back in and I download it and I replace
Oh,
my
son of
3 gig one. You know what it compresses it to? Like 300 megs. That's how big of a
what?
compress. I'm serious, bro. It's insane. So, yeah, so that's what I do. That's how I save space and still have a hard copy of the video. Thank you, YouTube, for your compression. It's fucking
Wow.
amazing. Okay. And it doesn't really take that long once I got in the habit of doing that. It didn't take that long. So,
Give me 2 seconds. Hang on.
yeah, yeah.
Are you okay? Is it still attached? Not by much? Oh, fuck. Are you okay though? Like, don't have to go to the hospital now. All right, cool.
So I was like,
What?
All right.
fuck.
I'm glad you're okay. Holy shit. I'm
Well,
glad
here,
you're
let's
okay.
wrap it up. No, that's
Super glad. No. No, she was cutting up some stuff for taco stuff and like nearly sliced off the end of her thumb. It was lettuce. Oh, it's the big knife then.
oh.
Oh, yeah. No, she's okay. She's she's in med she's you know that mode where you like hurt yourself and you're just like have to close your eyes and sit there and just be like, fuck me. Are you sure?
It's not bleeding much, so
Okay. We can also use super glue. That's what super glue is actually. No, seriously, super,
was.
That's what it was
That's right.
invented for that.
For
And
wounds.
the reason why they actually don't use super glue now is because cyanoacrylate is like the chemical compound. Cyano means cyanide.
Cyanide.
And yeah, you can literally kill yourself by putting too much glue in an open wound and
hmm
like you give yourself cyanide poisoning.
Yeah, I mean it's great for like if you had a tiny little cut on the end of your finger that's really clean and it's not
Yeah.
jagged and you can close the skin after you clean it out. You got to clean
And
it out,
then
people.
yeah.
Clean it out really good because a tiny little cut on your index finger that goes unchecked and unclean, if it gets infected, it'll be infected in 24 hours and it'll be bad.
Yeah.
But if you can close it up and then put super glue on it instead of inside it, then you're golden. Do you need to kiss it, make it
Look.
better?
Oh my
Let me see
god.
it.
How did you know I was about to do that? How did you know? Her hand is literally right here. Those of you watching, he literally said that and she walked up at that moment and I was just about to do that. Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's what I would have done.
Yeah, just thumbs up, one with a huge bandage. I'm okay.
Well,
No.
these are so relaxed, man. My granddaughter, my 5-year-old granddaughter, she's come in here on a podcast and busted in the door and like climbed up on this desk and like put her face this close to the thing, like try to talk to the person. So I've had people put their little baby, their infants on their lap and hold them while we're talking. Like, yeah,
Well,
it's very very laxed that way.
I fed my cats in anticipation of this. No, seriously. So last week at about I don't know 2 a.m. my time, I
Yeah,
was on a phone call with name's Nico because we were at the same event, so we were editing footage, sending South Africa footage back to each other,
yeah.
and I just got to be up at weird hours. And my cat was just meowing, just wow, wow, just like, why aren't you in bed? I'm supposed to be cuddling with you. Come to bed, come to bed. And
Oh
like
God.
she would not shut up. My cat was going nuts. And so that's why I was just like, okay, I'm going to feed my cats before this podcast
Mm.
because they would just be meow, meow, meow. It's 6:30. Where are you? Why haven't you fed me? Meow.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, man.
I got a different cat that doesn't nearly cut off her finger. So yeah,
Right.
yeah, no,
That's funny.
I'm genuinely serious about that. Like, real talk. Fuck the podcast.
Yeah.
You actually have a huge database of information.
Yeah.
Like, that's like knowledge is power. Like, I'm for sure certain about that. And like, I know folks like Novrich would be interested in that because it is a large collective of airsoft information and like you can look up stuff. And when you combine some like big names like that who also have a lot of other like international contacts, like you can really develop this into a large kind of like infrastructure, like
Network of
yeah, of just different airsoft communities, fields, players, content creators. Like there's something there. I can't necessarily put a fence
yeah.
around it or a word around it, but there's something there. And it's just kind of like feeling your way in the dark, because there's always been like this, all right, do you play airsoft? Yeah, I play airsoft. Like, okay, where can we play airsoft? Like, it's always been this underground thing of like, yeah, people playing in their backyards, people playing with friends in parks, and like they get in trouble, and like that's the thing. Like with airsoft is like you're always trying to find a place to play. You're always trying to find people to play with, and that in itself highlights one of the major holes in the sport. Like, mad props to Airsoft League South Africa. They are trying to create an international airsoft league. And so everything would be Airsoft League country name. Airsoft League country name.
Yeah.
So we have Airsoft League South Africa, which is where I met Names Nico, where I met Kicking Mustang, where Navrich, Joseph, Silo, we've all come to this event to come down and play here. Like, I just played with Silo like a month ago.
Yeah.
And super cool guy, by the way. Like,
Oh, Silo, yeah.
Yeah, Silo. Like,
okay.
The biggest name in Airsoft, and like subscriber amount wise. But like, it's still one of those things where like I've fallen backwards into meeting the biggest names of Airsoft. Like, I've played with Navrich, I've played with Joseph. Like, these guys are just normal guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
They love the sport, they love the hobby, and they're in the same boats that we are. Like, some of them may have like more manufacturing experience or distance, like, but this issue is still the same for all of us. Trying to find places to play, trying to find a network, trying to find a regulated league of either A, set rules, set locations, and set contacts, where you can reach out and be like, okay, I'm in Yucatan and I want to go play airsoft. There's someone there with a field. I guarantee you. It doesn't matter what country you go to, it doesn't matter what nationality you're in or where you're playing, you will be able to find airsofters.
Yeah.
Within like 100 miles of you. You'll find them. They exist.
Yep. I'm going to tell you my problem I've had with these, like reaching out more. I've reached out to a lot of people in different countries, Brazil, like a lot of the South American countries. And I've had good response from all the different people I've reached out to, except the language barrier. So, and I'm trying to figure out, I know there's translators. I understand there's like, I could even have an interpreter. Like my middle son married a Colombian lady, and her kids speak both very fluently. Like her 13-year-old son is like, and he's energetic, and he'd be great as a, like a co-host or whatever, if I needed, interpretation, but it wouldn't, and we could do it. It would be more of a slower type of interview. It wouldn't be like the way we're talking, because there would be this pause, right? There's this, I speak, translate.
Explains, yeah.
Yep. Then wait, she speaks or he speaks, then translate, and then back. So I'm not sure how to overcome the language barrier in a comfortable, casual conversation format. And but there's a ton of people that I've reached out to that would really, really like to talk with in the Czech Republic, in all of South America. So I just don't know how to get over that barrier.
I can tell you.
Okay.
It's going to require a bit more time, because it's going to require a lot more editing.
Okay.
So you have your normal conversation. You'll have your entire reel just like we're talking.
Yeah.
Pause, translator, understanding.
Okay.
I want to say this, translator back. You're going to dub over what they're saying.
Gotcha.
And then you just edit it. So your translator, you ask how they're doing.
Yeah.
Translator says, okay, how are you doing? Bienvenidos. No, sorry. ¿Cómo estás?
Yeah.
Sorry. Wow, I just fucked that up. ¿Cómo estás? Person is like, soy bien. ¿Y usted? I'm doing good. How are you? And you literally just have someone say in English what they are, but you have cut it so that, the person is talking. Or what I would do is I would take the two videos because you have your perspective and my perspective. I'm assuming that whatever recording program you have exports both or them together and you can switch between them or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Set it up in like a split screen format or something along those lines, but like you can have someone dub over what they're saying as they're saying it and just have them read the translation that the translator is saying to you.
Yeah.
And it just comes down to an editing thing. That's the only downside is that it's going to take a lot longer to edit a video instead of just, okay, record, upload because it's a straight dialogue. You would have to have a third person say what they were saying. And that it kind of does give it this unique feel, though, because that's also how a lot of at least Americans were raised on documentaries with foreign countries.
Yep.
They would have the person be like, "Arigato gozaimasu," and that would be Japanese, and then you'd have an English white ass woman saying, "And so he said, blah 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 blah." blah.
Right.
Yeah, and so he said, like, woman
It's-
just goes off. Yeah,
Right.
So that's how I would approach that problem. Can you give me 2 seconds? I really got to take a piss. I've had a lot of whiskey.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why don't we wrap it up? It's like
Oh,
1:10 a.m. my time.
Oh my god.
No.
I'm
It's
so
it's not a big deal. I usually stay up late, but
okay.
yeah, let's wrap it up, dude. And then well, it'll give us something to talk about next time, anyway.
Yeah, anytime, dude. Anytime you want to talk, chat, outside of podcast, inside of podcast, just hit me up, dude.
Absolutely.
Like, it's been super cool hanging out with you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your information, and I've got several links that I need to follow up on and check out their content. So
Yeah, check out Low. Check out Mr. Off Topic or
Crisis,
Milsim West Crisis for South Africa. There's another girl
Blue
in South
Jean.
Africa. Her call sign was
Zimbabwe.
no, she's part of the Cherry Bombs.
Oh, is she really? Okay.
Yeah, it was she's part of Legion. God, I can't remember her call sign. I think she was the first person from South Africa I had on. It was.
Okay.
She's part of the team Legion, the Airsoft team Legion. They're all, and so it's Legion SA, I think is what.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll have the link in there. I'm not done filling up this list yet, but if you go on my Discord, you can find all that stuff in there. But anyway, thank you so much, Ben. It was awesome meeting you, man. It's a great hangout. I'd say hi to your wife, and hopefully her finger feels better.
Yeah, no kidding.
So tell everybody real quick where they can find all your stuff.
It's going to be GGCT _ one punch _ or one _ punch on Instagram, and it's going to be One Punch Airsoft on YouTube.com.
Awesome.
That's going to be me, and thank you guys for watching.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, dude. It's great talking with you.